What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Center Beacon. The Hawk is here. The Hawk. Yes, it is basically a flying Natasha with a giant cannon that melts titans and all regular bots, laying waste to everything in its path. We're going to run some overdrives on this thing. We're going to put my friend Adrian Chong in the pilot seat for some extra damage. Pick some skills kind of randomly. Do what you want. I thought these would be good. I chose the energy shotgun weapons simply because I don't want anybody getting close to me, because I want to preserve my bad boy for killing titans, hopefully. But I don't think running other setups on this thing would be a terribly bad idea, such as scourges or nucleons. Long range, whatever you want to do. Here's a look at the ability, description, cooldown, so on and so forth. The other thing we're going to do is take a quick peek at the new quantum sensor. Only goes in the universal slot on your Titan. You can see they ended up with a maximum range of 150 meters. We'll talk about what we think about this, how we feel about this later in the video. Okay, so this is a game from the afternoon that this robot debuted. This is kind of an example of what you can do with this robot. This is not always what will happen. I think this thing is going to be meta for a little bit until they decide to smack it with the Nerf bat, or just something else that kind of makes this thing not as useful, or introduce a Titan that immediately counters this thing, or whatever it's going to be. But this thing's ability is going to make it pretty nasty, at least for the time being. The ability is pretty outrageous, pretty murdery. Murder. Very murdery. Basically just going to select a target here, and I want to see kind of like how far can I fly across the map with this thing too. One of my first games playing with this thing. Works great, obviously, against regular robots as well as Titans. Kind of a short flight duration, so you kind of got to be careful with that. But it's pretty good. Now, when it's on the ground, all it is a fancy Natasha. Most bots will eat this thing's face. That's one of the reasons I kind of had the thought to put the shotguns on it. I was like, well, if something gets close, maybe with like 2 glories and 2 halos, I can deal some really intense burst damage and kind of protect myself up close. But I think, like I said in the beginning, you could just as easily run something with range. The weapons you have on board are only relevant in the sense that they suit your playstyle, and that they are as maxed out as you have available to equip onto this thing, because the level and quality, whatever that means, I guess maybe a more meta-ish type weapon, affects the ability damage. So when you fly, when you use your ability, you can't actually use your equipped weapon, so you're not going to get a synergistic effect. Like, I wanted to do like calamities and scourges and my special ability. You can't do it. The weapons disengage while your ability is active, and you only get that death ray to focus in on your target. So really put on this thing what you want, but bear in mind, the higher the level it is and the greater its quality, define that as you will, affects the ability damage. So this was a pretty good run. This was basically a demonstration of using this as an opener. A lot of the other games I was playing, I saved it towards the end to see what it would do against Titans, like in this clip here. So straight out of the gate, I'd tell you, when you're going after Titans with this thing, don't waste your time on Arthurs unless their back is to you. I would focus on, obviously, Ao Mings and Kids, because they are soft and squishy when this thing's death ray is focusing on them. You can certainly go after the Nodens. What I found was that they're going to heal back a lot of the damage that you're dealing. Ao Ming heals too, but obviously the Nodens is going to heal a lot more. Now, I equipped Deathmark as the active module on this thing, because when I'm sitting in the hangar looking at this thing and trying to figure out how I want to run it, I'm always like, ooh, Deathmark, 20%. But the reality ends up being that while I'm playing, I end up needing like a phase shift or maybe an advanced heal or something, because you've got to keep the bot alive long enough to get back to that ability. In this clip, what I was kind of trying to do is just get into a spot where the terrain was to my advantage and just really make the most out of this thing's ability. Now, there is a lightning Ming back there. problematic. He was doing a really good job of using the cover to his advantage and then getting a huge piece of me. Now, he does me a favor here because he basically activates my overdrives, but damn near kills me in the process. So I've got my overdrives kicking in now. So I'm going to deal quite a bit more damage. If you recall, I was running 3 of these things, so you're talking 75%. So we're going to burn some people up here. But you kind of see like a quick in and out just because the flight time is so short. The ability duration is so short. You really want to work out of cover. It's not kicking in here, but if you flash back to the pilot skills that I equipped, I also have Adamant Mechanic on this thing in addition to regular Mechanic. So we've obviously got the pretty sizable beacon lead, so I'm not getting the advantage of that. But you can see where it's critical in keeping this thing alive. This thing's ability reminds me a lot of the Scorpion. It's really deadly if you can kind of hit it like dead perfect, pick the right target at the right time. You know, aka use skill, which is not what I'm looking to do. I'm looking to just, you know, pay to win, but that's another story. But if you hit it just right, it's really, really effective. But the other 80% of the time, you are a very squishy target. Here's me, the most well-known, unheard of YouTuber, going, I'm gonna record some gameplay. I'm gonna show everybody how this robot works. Ah. And instead, what ended up happening is I got my ass kicked several games in a row, really. Matchmaker actually did a pretty credible job with putting together good teams, especially on the other side. But you can see they've got Mings out all over the place. Should have stayed on that Ming to my right there. I don't really know why I pulled the beam off of him, but basically deployed this robot at the end here going, you know, hey, I'm going to like show what this thing can do against Mings, except, you know, the damn game is over and I'm getting my face melted here. So it's kind of a tough afternoon, honestly. I only ran one of these. I didn't feel like spending the gold to equip a second one. So maybe I should have done that, but I was being kind of lazy. This is the clip where I was actually able to throw down some pretty decent damage on an Arthur. I don't know if the guy was maxed or not, but I'm basically stalking him right here. He's right across from me there. And I just kind of wanted to see, like, can I get through the shield? Now, he's obviously taking a little bit of a beating from that Nodens and some of my partners over there on the right. But, I mean, he's still like 2/3 health. So I'm going to take a run at this dude. No idea how much of a pounding his shield had already taken, but there you can see I get through it and burn this guy the rest of the way down. So just an example, if you pick your targets, I mean, you can take down an Arthur. Just let your friends help you out a little bit. What's up there, fella? How do you do? Bet it's been a while since you got your face torn off by Stellar Halos. It's kind of like the new Ao Jun. You know, the Ao Jun is maybe seeing its sunset. Getting a ability nerf, supposedly, on test server. I think something else with like the cooldown or duration or something. So here's your new Ao Jun right here, at least for a little while. You got the same 2 heavy weapons, but you got a couple of lights on there, plus the death ray. So this will be your new flying menace. By no means unstoppable. It's like any other robot in the game. I mean, once you kind of get used to seeing it, wait for his ability to not be active. I mean, other than the damn Ravana, of which here is yet another one that has 29 abilities. Leeches, whatever it is, you just wait for their ability to collapse, and then, you know, then you go in on the thing. I mean, this thing right now in the configuration it's in, see? Toast right there. Ao Jun comes in, wipes me out. Don't really have much for that guy. So, we talked about that Hawk. We're going to spend a couple of minutes with the Ao Ming here. My personal dear friend, the Ao Ming, with the Dragoons, the Gendarmes, and the Cuirassiers. I'm not even sure what language that is. It's not English, but that's okay. And what I'm trying to do here is find somebody to use the damn quantum sensor on. Now, I don't get on test server a whole lot. I thought I recalled there being like a 350 meter, like when you max the thing out and upgrade it, there was 350 meters of range. Clearly that went away. Probably for the best. And it's only 150 meters now. So it's kind of, you know, unless something's right on top of you. Ooh, there goes a Loki off to the left over there. I might turn around and go get that dude. But unless you're right on top of the guy, like in this scenario here that I'm hopefully trying to create with this clip, not really going to get any advantage out of the quantum sensor. So unless an Ao Jun decides to go right down your throat, or in this instance here, I'm within range of this Loki now and I can target him all day long. I'm going to get on the ground, try to cap the beacon. However, my hot take on this thing though is I'm not pulling a antimatter reactor so I can run a quantum sensor. I am going to wait for the cannibal reactors, and I'm going to run as many of those damn things as they'll let me staple onto my Ao Ming. The utility of the quantum sensor, at least for me, just isn't great enough to make me pull another module. So, that's all we're doing with this video. We talked about the Hawk. We talked about the quantum sensor. Not really sure why I sound like Marty McFly there. I'm going to probably do a couple more videos on the Hawk, just get more used to it, just get a little bit more skilled with it. And if there's something that you guys want to see me test out with the Hawk in particular, let me know in the comments. And that's all I'm going to do for this video. So as always, I will see you next time at the Center Beacon.